the first thing that generally comes to fore or appears when the emotions have waned down a bit is differences. Your differences just comes in. In fact, that is why the most common reason people divorce is called irreconcilable what? Differences. That's why it's the most common thing people use. And usually it's not the differences that are irreconcilable, it's the people that are irreconcilable. Not the differences. The differences actually are normal. They are expected, they are required, they are necessary. So the differences are not the issue. It is the people involved that are irreconcilable or that refuse to reconcile, which we will still address as we go on. Jesus called it the hardness of heart. So why did Moses allow you to divorce? He says because of the hardness of your heart. So not the differences, but the first thing you will come in contact with when the emotions have waned, when the euphoric stage has passed, when the honeymoon stage has passed. But that's why in relationship science, we try to make sure people don't get married too quickly, so that euphoric stage will wane while you are still in a relationship, so that you know what you are getting into. You will see differences. There are different kinds of differences. In fact, another word for quarrels and fight is differences. So let's settle our differences. I'm just trying to show you, differences is the first thing that comes up. The difference. First thing that pops up. There are different levels of differences. There is difference in background. There's difference in temperaments, personality type. Then there's difference just because of gender. Just because of gender. All these things will pop up. A lot of the quarreling and fighting the early couple or the couples we face in their early years is tied to differences. That is why they found out most divorces will happen between 0 or between 1 and 7 years. That's where divorces happen. And usually, what is causing, if you check it, is that they couldn't navigate the stage for the differences. So they say it's irreconcilable difference. And you wonder, how did you marry this person in the first place? Because you were blinded at that time. When they say love is blind, it's true. Emotional love is blind. It blinds you from the reality. And when you now come into the reality of the differences, you are now shocked. I have a good friend that shared this story. How that the first early years of their marriage, they had a lot of quarrel. What was causing the quarrel? His wife came from a background where her dad was a retired military officer. So he was very security-minded. So every day he makes sure the doors are locked before he goes to bed, make sure everybody's in bed. He's security-minded. So he locks all the doors, locks all the windows. So that's the home she grew up in. Now, her husband grew up in a polygamous home. There were over 40-something people living in the house because he had a lot of wives, a lot of kids, over 40. So when you have up to 40 people living in the house, you do not lock the doors and the windows because you don't know who is at home and who is still on the outside. So you do not lock the doors. Doesn't make sense. And there's no security risk because anybody that wants to come and rob a house of 40 people needs to be more than 40. So that nobody's going to rob us, So he grew up in a house where you do not lock the door. So they both got married. The wife is expecting that every day, my husband will go around and lock the door. And the husband is expecting every day we're going to leave the door open.